recognizes Mr. Gomez for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just before I move on to my comment, I just want to point out to the representative from Colorado that we mourn with the CBP on the loss of their officer who died by suicide, but we also passed $23 million for suicide prevention for Border Patrol officers, which the majority ended up voting against in the omnibus bill. I'm about solving problems, but solving problems based on facts and having the right individuals here to answer questions. The majority likes to conflate a lot of facts or lack of facts or even made-up facts. And here's a fact. This is what we do know it's true. Despite what you have heard on the other side, 90% of fentanyl seizures happen at ports of entry, with the majority trafficked by U.S. citizens, not migrants and not asylum seekers. So why isn't the Office of Field Operations here to talk about our efforts to stop drugs trafficking at ports of entry? And it's because this hearing isn't about border security or solving our opioid crisis. It isn't even about facts. What it's about is painting immigrants as villains in order for my colleagues to further their anti-immigrant agenda. Republicans are trying to rewrite history to hide their extremist agenda from the American people. This extreme wing is trying to say that immigrants are trafficking fentanyl across an unchecked border. But we know that that's not true. Why? Because it happens at the ports of entry by U.S. citizens, not mainly by asylum seekers. And if you're wondering just how extreme, one bill they're trying to pass would end asylum as we know it, completely stopping asylum seekers trying to find safety in our country. And here's what one person said about the bill. Quote, "The reality is that this is a backdoor way of ending all asylum claims. The asylum process is broken and needs major reform, but abolishment is un-American." And who said that? It wasn't a Democrat. It was Tony Gonzalez, a Republican from Texas. But their party isn't controlled by reason. It's controlled by the extreme QAnon caucus who spewed hate and xenophobia and tried to mislead the American people. In fact, 9 members of this committee are co-sponsors of the majority, are co-sponsors of the extreme bill. So let's be clear. The extreme MAGA plan will not secure our borders because they're not asking the right questions to the right individuals about the right facts. And it won't stop the flow of drugs, but it will harm real people. We have saw a man with a documented history of abuse and racist behavior go out and shoot 2 migrants, killing 1. In 2019, a man went to a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, and killed 22 people. He told police he wanted to kill Mexicans. Their hatred of foreign-born people and their blatant lies have consequences, and it's time that they own up to it. We know some House Republicans are already speaking out against this extreme anti-immigrant, and I quote, anti-American plan for the border. So if we really want to solve problems, we should bring the not only these witnesses, but other witnesses.
Will the gentleman yield for a question?
No, I won't. And one of the things I want to make sure is that we solve the problem with facts, right? If it's basically, if we want to talk about what happens between the ports of entry and what you're dealing with, let's talk about those facts. And what you need to solve it. But if we want to talk about the fentanyl crisis and how it's coming in and what's being needed, we should talk about those facts instead of conflating all the different issues, right? That's what happens here in the U.S. House of Representatives. We cherry pick the facts that we want to see in order to make the points. But this is like, it is a difficult situation on the border. We get it. But usually in these hearings, what we try to do is use the 5 minutes to get the viral moment, to get the tweets, to get the likes, to get the more followers, right? But it doesn't really solve anything. So I feel like the majority is playing into that same song and dance, right? Not really trying to ask the right questions to the right witnesses, but just to further their narrative and the agenda that they want to push. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair.